What do you do when the world starts spinning too fast but you're standing still? When chaos hits, not as a storm you can dodge, but as a slow leak in your soul. Not loud, not visible, but fatal. You've seen it. The fake smiles, the endless noise, everyone pretending to be fine while mentally falling apart. The world today doesn't explode, it erodes, quietly, invisibly, and if you don't build a fortress inside, you'll collapse with it. But here's the catch. The strong don't fight chaos. They absorb it, without reacting, without responding, without wasting a single word. Power now lives in silence. Control isn't about dominating others. It's about becoming unshakable while everyone else is shaking. And that's what makes you untouchable. Not your fists, not your voice, but your discipline not to react. The average person burns their energy proving points, explaining, defending, posting, pleading, but the man who says nothing, he terrifies them, because silence means you don't need approval, you don't need to win an argument, you've already won. Killing chaos starts there, not in the outside world, but in your refusal to let chaos inside. People will try to bait you into reacting. That's the trap. The moment you respond, you give them access. Access to your peace, your mind, your energy. So what's the first step? Observation. Train yourself to notice, not to react. Become a watcher of the game, not a player in the drama. And once you see the game for what it is, rigged, loud, and pointless, you stop playing, not with anger, not with fear, just silence. And that's what breaks them. They will test your silence with noise, with provocation, with disrespect. The moment you choose to walk in silence, the world throws a tantrum. People don't hate silence, they fear what it reveals, because silence exposes weakness. And most people are terrified you'll see how loud their insecurity really is. That's why they push, they prod, they talk louder, faster, meaner. It's not power, it's panic. And here's the difference. Chaos reacts, power doesn't. Power watches, waits, measures, and then moves once, silently, without asking permission. You don't need to raise your voice to raise your standard. That's the secret. The loudest man is rarely the strongest, but the man who can sit through the storm without flinching, he's already mastered it. And this kind of power, it's not given, it's earned. In every moment you choose not to fire back, not to explain, not to prove, just to stand, tall, calm, deadly. The reason most people never reach that level is because they confuse silence with weakness. They think speaking louder wins. But the most dangerous man in any room is the one who doesn't speak unless it's necessary. So kill chaos where it starts, in your reaction. You can't stop the noise, but you can stop giving it control. don't need to be louder than chaos. You just need to outlast it. And that begins when you finally understand silence is not empty. It's full of everything the world can't handle. Focus, self-control, clarity. It's the sound of someone who has already won. You don't have to fight chaos by raising your voice. That's what the weak do. They shout because they've lost control. The dangerous ones stay quiet. Their silence is not absence, it's calculation. When everyone else is reacting, they're watching. And while others talk, they're moving. Imagine a man standing in a burning room. He doesn't panic. He doesn't scream. He steps through the smoke, eyes fixed, body still. That's not fearlessness. That's inner command. Real power doesn't need to be noisy. It doesn't need to prove itself. The moment you try to prove you're in control, you've already lost it. Chaos feeds off your need to explain, defend, or argue. But when you stay still, when you remain a mystery, chaos has nothing to grab onto. Most people can't handle silence. It forces them to face themselves. That's why your silence threatens them. Because it reflects what they're not: disciplined, patient, unreadable. And when they finally speak, hoping to pull you in, hoping you'll break character, don't. Just watch, just breathe, just stand still like the storm belongs to someone else. You don't rise by reacting. You rise by mastering the pause. Every time you withhold your reaction, you add another layer to your strength. One breath at a time, you become untouchable. If you felt that power in the silence, don't just scroll. Subscribe and let the next move be yours. It's strange, isn't it? The more chaotic the world gets, the more people talk. Loud opinions, endless arguments, empty noise. But have you noticed who doesn't speak? The man who watches, the man who listens, the man who waits. Because silence isn't the absence of words, it's the presence of power. He walks into a room, and without a single word, energy shifts. People adjust themselves. Loud mouths pause. Even threats hesitate. Why? Because chaos fears what it can't predict. You see, when you argue with noise, chaos grows louder. But when you stay quiet, truly quiet, chaos gets nervous. You become unreadable, mysterious, dangerous. You stop being a participant in the madness and start becoming a force that controls it. The men who rule the room aren't the loudest. They're the most composed. While others react, they calculate. While others explode, they observe. And in that stillness, in that restraint, they strike with perfect timing, not to be seen, not to be heard, but to be felt. Because those who master chaos don't confront it. They dismantle it silently. Here's what most people don't get. If you want to kill chaos, you don't need more noise. You need precision. Chaos thrives on reaction. But when you refuse to react, it collapses in on itself. You don't fight fire with fire, you starve the flame. A calm man in a loud world becomes unshakable. He becomes immune to manipulation, blind to provocation. Why? Because he's not trying to win the argument. He's watching the whole board. He knows that real power isn't about being right. It's about being in control. Control of your emotions, control of your energy, control of what deserves your response and what doesn't. Most people waste their energy explaining, defending, arguing. But what if you didn't need to defend anything? What if your silence was the loudest message of all? Because in the end, the loudest man in the room isn't heard, he's ignored. But the silent one, he's remembered. And now, here's the part that most people avoid. Mastering silence isn't about withdrawing. It's about becoming undeniable without making a sound. The most powerful men in history didn't yell. They watched. They chose their moments. And when they moved, the world noticed. No warnings, no noise, just presence, just force. You don't kill chaos with chaos. You end it by becoming the one thing it can't infect, stillness with purpose. So the next time someone tries to drag you into their storm, ask yourself, why step into their chaos when you could become the calm they'll never conquer? Now here's the question you'll have to face. If silence is your greatest weapon, why do you keep wasting it? If this made you pause, then maybe it's time you stayed. Subscribe and let silence shape your next move.